Bam! What is up with the squad? It's your favorite auntie with Uncle Tendency. The Cess Talk Sports presents now. Joining the conversation with Coach Ro. Coach, what's good, fam? What's going on?
What's up, Cess? As we know, there's a lot of basketball being played, and I'm ready to get into it. A few topics that are very intriguing. Getting ready for this home runs. A lot of interesting storylines that are going on right now, and I'm just ready to see what happens. What's up with you?
Coach acting brand new. He ain't seen the intro before either. Don't trip. He ain't seen it either. He acting brand new.
Oh no, I didn't. You know what? I was like, I
can't
wait. No, you didn't hear me. We was in the thing. I was like, that's hard.
No, I can't. Oh. Nope, it muted. It don't let me hear. It don't let us talk.
I was like, that's hard. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Coach acting funny. That. He ain't seen it. He ain't seen it before
that.
either.
I like that.
Yes, sir. So yeah, now joining the conversation in the building. So it is a lot of basketball going on. We can get right into it. I know one of the first topics that you wanted to talk about was will the Dream make the playoffs? You know, will the Dream or the Sky make the playoffs? And you were on the live. I don't know if it was yesterday, day before yesterday, days. I'm running together now. But you said something about who the Chicago Sky were with no Angel Reese.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, that's trash. Who are they? They're nobody. They're not going anywhere. And I was like, I don't know, Coach, because there's still a Camila Cardoso and there's still a Kennedy Carter. There's still, you got to put somebody on the floor where Angel's at. So all of those things matter. Izzy stepped up. Izzy stepped up tremendously today. Can Izzy keep that up? Will be an important part of this equation. And then if it's not Izzy, are they able to do it by committee where there's somebody that's picking up the Angel Reese productivity to carry them through the playoffs, or carry them to get into the playoffs and then beyond. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. So
I think the better question, not saying that you didn't have a good question, but I think the better question.
No, you did say I didn't have a good question, basically. But go ahead. Because you didn't answer my question, and you came with another question.
Let me answer your question first.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So, no, come with the better question. I don't want you to answer my question anymore. Go with the better question.
Can Izzy keep it up? He's silly. Can Izzy keep it up? I think that what you mentioned about committee is the only way that Chicago can go. As me by committee. I don't think there's 1, 2. I think there has to be several players that step up and just fill that void. I think that the bigger spotlight is, can Kennedy Carter keep this pace, not only to get them to the playoffs, but if they were to get into the playoffs, can she keep this up? Phenomenal game yesterday. Nothing short of amazing. Looked comfortable, took great shots. But I wonder if Kennedy Carter can keep up this pace. I'm not saying that she cannot score the ball, but leading the team to the important wins that they need in order to get to the playoffs is a different type of pressure. So if we're looking at their schedule, and this is where it gets intriguing for me. Oops, hit something. Okay. So they got the Mystics Wednesday at home. Then they travel to Minnesota. Phoenix is coming to them. Then the game that I think that is going to highlight when we get to the other part of this equation, that game versus Atlanta is going to be must-see TV. I really think that they may still be even when this game comes up. Like I said, we're getting that in a minute. Then they go to Connecticut. Now, the good thing is a couple of these games, maybe, and I'm not saying that Chicago's looking for the sympathy or anything from another team. I don't know if by this time Connecticut's saying, look, this is the last game of the season. We don't care. Or even if Minnesota's feeling that at this time because their spot is pretty much solidified. I don't know. But that's going to be, to me, can Kennedy Carter, and let me be fair. I don't think it's fair to even expect her to have the game that she had yesterday. Not continuing on several games. But as far as the supporting cast, they have to step up. The other guards have to step up. They have to step up. No,
they don't.
Don't think so.
You know why?
Well, yeah, tell me about it.
You know who I saw? You know, I figured out Kennedy Carter is playoff Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Playoff
All right.
Jimmy Butler.
You know what I thought you were gonna say? Westbrook.
No, I haven't. So maybe there may be some comparisons. I don't watch enough Westbrook to draw that comparison. What I think about Jimmy Butler is in the playoffs, he's a lot more he's a lot more dangerous. I feel like but I also feel like he takes a little bit more on his shoulders in the playoffs. Like it's a little bit more of his responsibility to get it done now. Like if you guys get us through the regular season, then I can get us through the playoffs, right? With you guys chipping in here and there. And what I feel like for Kennedy is like with Angel out, she takes on this extra responsibility, but I also think that it's something good for Kennedy. Some people need to have a little pressure, need to know that you're counting on them to show up a little bit different, right? And I feel like Kennedy is that type of player, right? And so like in this situation, she's gonna want to show up and like get it done, right? I don't know how to explain it.
I think you just did a good job of bringing a perspective that I didn't really. I like that about liking
because I think that she's a person that seeks not attention but
recognition,
but also kind of to know that she's done a good job, right?
From I thank you from the outside because the sky knows she can do.
Not from the sky.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But you're right.
Because there's been this this narrative or this cloud over Kennedy, right?
That's
so there's this unwritten something about Kennedy based on everything that she's been through, right? And so
there was more coverage on the hip check than her putting up almost 30 points.
Right.
Let's talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So
let's talk about it.
I just think that I'm just saying, and I also think like when you think about, I don't know the right word because I haven't studied this, but so there's the hug from Teaspoon. I'm wanting to know that my coaches trust me, wanting to know that my coaches believe in me, I don't know what's the right word to put on that. But I think that this is that time, is that moment to be able to gain those things, right? The stage is set for her to go and show up and show out and be able to deliver for people to be able to say job well done.
Right. And an element of that too is controlling your emotions, Kennedy. Control them. I mean, as far as like, there's going to be some fouls that are very questionable. There's going to be some things that happen. Keep it in check. And you're really gonna like show exactly what you're able to do. Now, I got a question for you, Cess. And I did this with JJ on New York before. I want to hear from you. What is the desired stat line that you'd like to see from Cardoso? From now, just getting to the playoffs. We're not even talking about the playoffs. From now to the playoffs, what's like? Okay, this is the stat line that gets us to the playoffs from Cardoso.
I don't have one. Okay. I don't have one because I don't think that there's a certain stat line that gets us that Cardoso needs to do to get us to the playoffs, right? So to me, Cardoso is going to be at or around the double-double because she's been at or around the double-double the entire season. It's overshadowed because she's playing with the rookie who has 26 double-doubles, right?
Right.
But to have almost 26 double-doubles off by one or two points or whatever, is also I think a great feat. And I don't really know if it was almost 26 double doubles, but I'm just
Right.
saying that her numbers show that she's been on target for a double double in most of the games she's played, by a couple points or a couple rebounds.
Okay.
So it's not a specific stat line as much as it is. What I want from Camilla is staying on the floor, staying in the game. And so I guess the stat line would be control the number of fouls, right? So I don't want to see the fouls getting up to 4 and 5, because then she's off of the floor. And so I guess it's not the number, it's the staying on the floor for me. And so it's going up with her arm straight up. It has a tendency to kind of swat down sometimes at the ball. Just showing the control, not to swat down at the ball, staying straight up. Dana Evans talked at the post game presser today, and she talked about how it's important. It's important for the team to be able to get to the playoffs and have that experience. Just to even see the different intensity, the different way people show up, the different way people prepare, the different way referees call the game. So being able to have that experience is important. And so I think to be able to get to that experience, getting to that experience is keeping Camila Cardoso on the floor. When she's on the floor, she's pretty much close to a double-double. So it's being able to keep her on the floor, and being able to keep that rim protection there, and being able to keep that presence in the paint, because you won't have the other dog, in the paint with Angel on the bench. That's another thing I want to call out. Great. Angel continues to show just great leadership. We talked about this before. Down with an injury, you see some people on the bench looking so sorry for themselves because they can't be out there, not soaking in the game up, pacing, not pacing, but watching the game up, engaging when the players were coming off, letting them know what she saw, what they could do different. When who went down hurt? Somebody went down hurt. Somebody got hit in the eye.
Was it Bantam maybe?
No, it wasn't Bantam. It was I don't remember the name. I won't stay there. She got hit in the eye. They walked her out. Angel walked out with her. Diamond DeShields went down. Angel walked out, checking on everything. So staying engaged, and that type of leadership, I think, is just as important as a team getting a win.
Good point. Yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to tap into, though, before we move on, is you were saying what our schedule looks like, and if Connecticut will play all their players, and what people who've clinched already will look like, right? I think that the Asia Wilson factor is going to change a lot of things. So let's understand that coaches went from saying Asia Wilson coming in white tee to the game to Asia Wilson walking in a walking boot to the game. It has to make a coach and players that are already in the playoffs take a pause and say, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Are we going to be any more healthy? Are we going to be any more ready? Are we going to be any more, is it worth it to try to make the push to get home court advantage or be on the road? Because that's basically what people are fighting for, 1 through 7, I think, pretty much.
Right.
So is it worth that? Because Asia Wilson showing up in a walking boot today, that bothered me to the core.
Yeah.
That bothered me to the core. Not a good look, not a good feeling. And you Nafisa has been out with plantar fasciitis already. I think it was plantar fasciitis already this year. So are you taking these risks, or are you scaling back now and saying like, hey, now it's time for the young folks to go make their money, and we'll see everybody in the playoffs. So
I think it's the latter.
Asia Wilson. The Asia Wilson factor is a big thing to me.
I think it's the latter. I think it's the latter, Cess. I think it's let's rest up who we know is going to show up, show out our great players, and let's get this experience in the young ones. And I think it's a great opportunity for them to show what they can do, mix and match some different lineups. Because, like, for example, even though I was blacked out because of the DirecTV dispute with Disney, I had to look at highlights and some of the watchback of the Liberty Aces game. And it's like, that's one of those sets where, like, how proud do you think Asia was sitting there watching her team play the way they played without her? I mean, they eked it out and beat them, but that was a very close game. I mean, it was a very close competitive game without the best player in the world on the floor. So my answer to your question is, I think the coaches that have an opportunity, if it's 2 or more games, they like, look, this is where we at. I'd rather get some experience from my other players that's not getting that much time on the floor. I'm going to need them. I might need them when the playoffs start. I'm going to let them play. I'm going to let them get out here and play. And I just think that what we started this show out with is more of, like, to me, the main course of 2 teams that really have to win out or win more, like in the very end to get into the playoffs. But these other teams, I think is what you said in the latter. I think they already had their spots. And I'm almost sure we had this conversation a couple shows ago, and you even mentioned it. Like, look, some of these players, these teams, they're already set. They're not going all out like that because they already had their spots. It's not going to be not going to be a lot of movement basically from the different spots.
Not only that, Asia's injury was a freak. That's a freak accident. That doesn't happen. Somebody falling your Achilles. That doesn't happen.
And I think it's like a precautionary. Protect that Achilles with all you can, because playoffs, we got 5 games left. You stay on that bench. We straight. Worst case scenario, will we drop down to 6? Who cares?
Oh no, Asia. I hear Asia's back on the 11th. So I hear Asia's back for the 2 Fever game.
And when she's back, is she back? Is it like, hey, let's go out there, get them going, go sit down, relax, get that, make sure you good. Because if
how important is it to be the only team that the Fever didn't beat this year?
2-time champs, I don't think it's nearly as important as them going and making a run for 3. I just don't. Now, of course, the competitive side of the Aces, of course, they're looking at it like, we don't want them to get a game. To be able to say that is big. Like, nope, y'all didn't get a game against us.
Everybody else that took the L to Caitlin.
Right. I hear you. Will it be a break glass in case of emergency? We up by like 4 with 3 minutes left. Asia, go get in there and get a couple buckets. I don't know.
Do you trust Becky Hammond's coaching in this moment?
Yes, I do.
Based on
the fact that look, Becky Hammond's been getting beat up a lot this season, and for what? Why?
Here's my question. And I love the Aces. I love Becky. I love the way that she connects with the players. But tell me the time that Becky coached her ass off. Tell me the time that you were like, man, if Becky doesn't this, we don't that.
I haven't. I'll say this. I haven't had a moment to say, wow, she coached, phenomenally. But I did have a moment when they had that skid on how calm she was. And to me, they followed that in their interviews, and it seemed like in their locker room, they never panicked. Remember, I was hitting the panic button, and I'm not even an Aces fan. I'm like, what's going on with the Aces? When they had the little skid of games, I'm like, what's going on with them? So her composure, her experience, I will say that's, to me, one of her biggest assets. But no, I've never had a moment where it's like she's doing a great job. But again, I don't know. That situation was all over the place. That's when I was like, remember the chat fan was going in on Plum.
Well, I'm asking because I've been hearing the dialogue now that like, and it's got me, I'm wondering. A foundation was laid. Bill Lambert laid a foundation, right? Okay. First year coming in, she didn't have to tweak that foundation much to be able to get to that championship, right? I think that players showed up and were better, and chemistry prevailed, right? Right? Okay, so now we coming into the second year, and it's like we're gonna repeat, and the gang's all here, and we're gonna add Candace. Okay, and Candace helped a lot what we were able to do. So now coming into this year, third year, and I hear what you're saying about there was the skid, and you liked how she was in the skid. Should she have done something different in the skid?
But Cess, you corrected me. I was going in, and you said
these are not my thoughts. These are not my thoughts. These are just things that I'm hearing, that I'm seeing out here.
But I like that though. But remember, when we talked about this, and we literally went through their whole roster and said, okay, what's she supposed to do? Who's supposed to come in? That's when they had all these rumors about players coming back.
Okay, but this is the thing, though. Okay, so now here's where we talk about coaching, and then we talk about front office and this stuff. Who was supposed to come in? So we saw Odyssey Sims, who would have been a great pickup in Las Vegas. You don't think? Off the bench behind Chelsea?
Yeah.
Picked up in two spots. We let Daisha Fair go. Did we bring anybody in after her, really? Tiff Hayes. Okay. Who do we bring in behind Asia? We bought in Jessica Carter. We let her go. Okay. So my thing is, okay, I'm looking at we couldn't bring nobody in, but on your off day you didn't go shopping?
But is that on Hammonds or is that an organization?
I'm just
I know.
I'm just asking the questions that's out there.
Sorry,
and so my thing is, if it's not on her, are you advocating for that? Are you saying, hey, get somebody in here?
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Then
here's the thing. The city of Las Vegas gave them $100,000 extra, right, to the players. Right. The organization has shown that they're willing to pay fines to make their players comfortable. So to be able to say, hey, sign somebody, get somebody in here, to me, that's what do you need? Hey, who? Get who? Call who? Call who? Who we call who? Who you want me to call? Who's coming? When do you want them here?
Okay.
How many you want? Is what I'm thinking. We'll get back on 100,000 to the city to have some help here. Asia Wilson, we're one Asia Wilson away from not being the 1988 Lakers anymore. I told you he was already hanging on the thread, hanging by a thread here. So, what were we supposed to do something different here? And is that Hammond? Is that front office? Is that both? Is that I'm putting it out here because this is what I'm hearing. So I want the feedback. Let's and so now are we in this position now where because here's my thing too. And now this is me asking. Okay, so we're in this skid. Weren't you supposed to be prepared in this moment?
Yes.
Do we go to the X's and O's here? Are we drawing up special plays? Is it just like?
Yeah, you were supposed to be prepared.
I was gonna make a cake. But it ain't no eggs. So,
but like you prefaced this though, Cess, if you had 2 seasons the way you had them in a row, where you were kind of on cruise control, can you do that? Getting to your original point. When was the point where she really coached you? You was like, whoa, that was a great move. So, I mean, I like the foundation that you laid on that because now I'm seeing exactly what you're saying as far as like I can name a point when Quinn had some moments. I can name a point when even Christy Sides had some moments. I can name some times.
Now the play to beat Chicago, the play that went to Asia to beat Chicago, great play. How much
Asia called that play?
And I was gonna say, how much of that is drawn up, and how much of that is just Asia being Asia, right?
Right. Clear it out, get the ball to Asia.
How much of what we have going on is just the benefit of Asia being Asia, and the point guard being the point guard, and Jackie being Jackie, and Kelsey being Kelsey, and Candace being Candace, right? No shade on Becky. But before I'm ready to call her this great coach that went back to back or potentially a 3P, is there a little Steve Kerr, Mark Jackson transitioning overlap going on here?
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, because how many times have we watched the games live and the other team's on a run, and is this Becky Hammonds letting them play through it like some of the great coaches we've seen? Where it's like, nope, they can work it out, let them figure it out. Or should you call that TO? You know what I'm saying? Should you sit somebody down? There's been several times I'm watching the game like, okay, they're on a 13-2 run. You gonna call a timeout? And it's like,
And
no.
let me say this too. I may be a little bit biased about Bill Laimbeer, right? I was a Detroit Shock fan, so I saw what Bill did there.
Say it again.
Right? So I was a Detroit Shock fan, so I was a Bill Laimbeer fan, right? So I understand what Bill Laimbeer was able to do, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's hard for me to look at the talent that Las Vegas was able to stack up and go, if Bill's here the next year, they could win that thing still with that talent.
Right.
Like Bill was on the trajectory. Like Bill was on a trajectory where he could have been, I think, 2-time champions on 2 different WNBA teams. And I don't know that that's ever been done. I don't know.
Well, Bill, I was a heavy Shock fan, and Bill was building the aces just like he had the Shock. Think about, we're going to have to do this in another show, though. That Shock team was almost 10 deep.
Yeah,
you never had a rest, and the aces were on the same thing. So I think that's kind of getting to, I'm not going to say your frustration, but I'll say some of the aces fans. I think that's exactly the crux of what we're talking about now.
Okay.
We rely heavily on certain players. Who's going to be, you're not deep. Right.
Let me ask this too. Yeah. Okay, so not being deep, whose fault is that? Right? And I'm saying whose fault is that? Because you were deep year 1. Mm-hmm. You were deep year 2. And year 3, we looking around like, hey, what's left? And we looking at a bench that's like Gustafsson and Colson, right? So, these are the players that we're looking at. That's not a knock on Sid. It is kind of a knock on Gustafsson, because who are you? You went over to Paris and showed up with a double and came back here and laid 2 double eggs. You know what I mean? So, like, and so keeping this bench together, building this bench out, having this team prepared, was that Bill? And has it slacked off because he's not there and Becky's there and she's making personnel? Like, who makes the personnel calls in this situation, I guess? And was that Bill keeping them 10 deep? Did Bill have the Detroit Shock 10 deep, or did the front office have them 10 deep, or was it a combination of Bill and the front office? And
I think it was a combination.
Is this a reflection? Is this a reflection of Becky's coaching style, or non-coaching style, or not? I don't know. I think it's an interesting conversation to have. And there's no shade on Becky. I want to understand, like, are these championships? And it goes back to, it all started with a conversation about dynasty, and if the Patriot dynasty was Bill Belichick's, because of Bill Belichick, or because of Tom Brady, or because of both, right? And that was the question. And Tommy went and won something somewhere.
Sure did. He sure did.
And Bill wasn't able to win something where he was at, right? And so this is how the conversation started. And so now my question is, like, when I'm looking at that, so do we have 2 championships because Asia's Asia? Or do we have 2 championships because Becky came in here and got us to this?
Asia. I don't even have to think about that one, because Asia Wilson can go to any team in the WNBA right now. And if they don't get it that first year, they'll be competing that very next year. I don't care who's around her to play for a championship.
I'll go as far as to say this. You know how sometimes in practice they have the teams running, and then you take the best player off the team that's winning and drop them on the other team to see if they can come back.
Yep.
If you dropped Asia Wilson on any one of the 4 teams, that are not, the teams that are mathematically still available to get into the playoffs, Asia Wilson gets them into the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Any one of the rosters you want to pick.
Drop her on Dallas. I would love that challenge. Put her on Dallas with a good one.
Any one of those rosters that you pick. You take Asia from the Las Vegas Aces and drop her on any one of those teams, and they get in the A spot.
Absolutely.
Right now, on the run back.
Absolutely.
She's that special. And so before I start to put Becky Hammond up there like Pat Riley and Phil Jackson and even Eric Spoelstra, right? Are you?
Well, and let me say this: the elephant in the room. does that whole Hamber situation have anything to do with who's really in control here? Could there have been? I'm saying, could there have been maybe some of that input came out and it's like, nah, you you go sit down. You've done enough. We'll make these decisions. I don't know. Maybe her reach was taken away a little bit. Like, you know what, you doing too much.
I don't know. The Hamby situation is different because Hamby, if Hamby, we could get into that, but Hamby, you didn't file any grievance with the NBA, with the WNBA Players Association. You didn't file a grievance with HR. You didn't do any of those things, so you weren't mad enough to do that. But you sued, and then but it was okay because we was paying for your kid to go to school up under the table in the dark, and that was okay. But then when I called and said what I said, then now we're not. Once we do dirt together, we did dirt together.
Right.
There's no more business is business. We're partners in crime.
Right.
So you handle that different for me, right? So you can't. I don't know. I don't know. It was very Eddie Haskell of her to me.
I just looked at it. I'm only mentioning, and I know it's a mess. I only mention that point, Cess, because to me that was a personal shot from Hamby at the coach. So,
but the thing is, though, you took your shot, right? It was like you took your shot. You took your shot. They did their investigation. They suspended me for 2 games, and I'm back at work. And you're that wasn't the punishment that you wanted,
right?
And so now you're taking another shot,
right? I agree with all that.
I take issue with that.
Yeah, but I agree. Based on the heels of what we're talking about, I'm just saying, does that play into this atmosphere of what you mentioned, just as far as Becky Hammon's coaching? That's all I'm saying. Does that play into it?
I don't know. I guess we'll know at some point. Maybe somebody will talk about it. But I'm just wondering. And as we're passing out, because we're so quick to pass out GOAT status and best of this, best of that. I just as these questions started coming up, I had me thinking like, I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that question. Then somebody was like, tell me the last time you saw Becky coach her ass off. It was like that one play when they beat the guy, and then I'm trying to think back, and it's like I don't know. You know what I mean? But maybe it's because her coaching style is like what you said. Like I've said it too. Like sometimes Becky is at the microphone after the games, and it's like I'm not going to keep telling you.
Right.
I told you what you need to do.
They know what they need to do. Yep.
And until you do that, then there ain't nothing to talk about.
Right. I mean, we put in the work and practice behind closed doors. Some of the great coaches were like that. They did all their yelling, all their whatever. They did it behind closed doors. When you got on the floor, you're like, what are they doing? They're like, they sitting there.
I mean, I understand. I mean, and it could just be like I told y'all what to do. And until you do it and prove that it doesn't work,
right, then
that's what it is.
Right.
So do it. If you do it right and then it doesn't work, then we could talk about doing something else.
Right.
But until you do it right and show me that it doesn't work, then there ain't nothing to talk about till then. So I don't know. I don't know.
Great point. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see. I'm gonna watch those games closely too. I'm gonna have to get Fubo or something though.
Yeah, gotta go out to sign up for something different. I know that you wanted to talk about Aaliyah Boston. But before we get into Aaliyah,
of course,
and everything that she's been doing, we haven't talked a while, and I talk about her all the time because I'll get my flashlight out. Rickea Jackson, how are you feeling about Rickea's performances here recently, and her experience or her stint so far in Los Angeles?
Okay.
I don't know that we talked about that.
Nope. So, okay, here's the thing about Rickea. What I like about Rickea right now is that she looks comfortable. She looks very comfortable now in the offense. Before, I don't know if it was moving too fast or if she was moving too slow. I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. And I'm going to add a personal aspect to this. I follow her on social media, and I've noticed she's literally on Instagram like every other day. She's very happy. She's laughing. She's joking. She She dancing with her friends. She's talking about what they're going to do that day. She wasn't doing that when she first arrived. And I see now some of these games that were, bummer as far as them losing them. But I love the way that she's evolving. And now she's showing, in my opinion, what we predicted her to be able to do at the very outset when she was drafted. She's taking a lead. And she's showing she can shoot it from distance. She can shoot it mid-range. She can get to the rim. I'd like to see her be a little more vocal than she's been. But I think that right now, I think watch out next season. Watch out next season, especially when they're fully staffed on that team. Rickea Jackson is going to be, I'm going to call it right now, she's going to be on that MVP ballot next season. She's going to be on the MVP ballot next season because the skill set she came to the WNBA with is a rare skill. A lot of players come to the WNBA and say, oh, they're a shooter. Oh, they're a ball handler. Oh, they mix it up down low. Rickea Jackson has all of those skill sets. She has all of those tools. And I think that when she first came in, I don't know if it was the personnel that she came out with, where it was like, okay, this is what we want you to do. It drove me crazy to see her standing in the corner. It drove me crazy to see her get the ball and give it up right away. Now she's getting the ball. She's looking to attack. She's looking to get to the rim. And even more impressive, what she was doing all along is setting up her teammates. So I think that Rickea Jackson is going to be one of those players that watch out because she's going to be like right there, in my opinion. I think she's going to be right there with on that MVP ballot. Those are my thoughts. I think she's doing excellent right now with the last and she's averaging 12 points, almost 13 points, almost 4 rebounds. But remember, I want to see her get more assists, but I like the flow of the game. And like right now, and look, no disrespect. The Sparks games are painful to watch. They're painful to watch. It's like they have different toys that can do different things, and it's like they haven't learned how to play along together yet. It's painful to watch. So, but I'm looking at how she's evolving and playing. So, for example, you had let's go from she had one game. So August 28th, she had 19. September 1st, she had 13. Then I don't know what happened when they played Indiana. She only had 5 points. But after that, 17, and then just recently she had 23, but she played the whole game against Connecticut. But look at how she's playing against that, against some of those. New York Liberty, she put up 19. You know what I mean? Chicago, scrappy, as we know, she put up 17. So she's putting up numbers against these teams that, I don't think people really expected her to do. But I love where she is right now, and I think that there's nothing but upward progress from here for Rickea. I like what I'm seeing. I think the WNBA is being put on notice right now. That's my thoughts on Rickea.
Rickea played 40 minutes tonight.
Right.
40 minutes tonight,
Right.
I believe, right?
Right.
Really coming into her own. Not respected enough to me for what she does. But I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that the Unrivaled is going to be a good look. I think that's a good look for Rickea.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are going to really be able to get a chance to see kind of like what a bucket she is in 3-on-3. Like, I think her game really translates to 3-on-3. And that 1v1 competition that they're going to have in Unrivaled, where everybody go 1-on-1.
She's going to win it.
Her game will have her compete. Her game will have her competing.
She's a triple threat, Cess. She's a triple threat. She's a one-on-one nightmare. What you want her to do? She can step back and shoot in your face. She can go around you because she's quick enough. She can back you down. She's an underrated, strong player down low. Like she'll go down there.
And that's why I think too. Once she's gonna get stronger. I think that's the other thing. that people don't realize is that she's gonna get stronger. When her core gets stronger, like I'm looking at Rakia out here on the floor with some of these other players.
Mm-hmm.
She looks so small. Like she's gonna get bigger. She's gonna get a weight program. She's gonna not like she's gonna blow up, but she's gonna get stronger in her core. Her legs are gonna get a little bit stronger. You're not gonna be able to bump her off her spot as well. She's gonna be able to bump back. She's gonna finish through contact more. And then look out. She's already a three. She's already a 3-level scorer.
Right. And I think she's what we, like with the old school, she's wiry strong. You know what I'm saying? She's, she got a thin frame, but she's stronger than she looks. But like you said, when she puts in that work to put on that healthy, lean muscle, more lean muscle, and going through contact is really going to be a problem for those in the WNBA. I mean, again, I'm looking at it right now. So she had 1, 2, 3 games in the past month and a half where she shot under. She's been like almost 40% shooting. And look at her stat lines.
Look at the games where she's had 60% shooting.
Yeah, 60%, 63%, 57%. The other night, she 9 out of 18. Okay, let's break this down. This is the WNBA. There's not a play you take off. You're playing against some of the best athletes. This young lady was just playing college this year, okay? Just playing college ball. And now she's stepping in with stronger players, stronger women, faster women, and shooting the clip of almost an average of 50%. Are you kidding me right now? And the shot selection? So imagine if she took 5 or 6 more shots and got a little more aggressive. That percentage is just, like I said, the only thing I want to see her step up in a little more are the assists. Because what I've noticed is when she gets it, some of those misses are her getting there and already making up her mind, I'm going to take this shot, instead of trusting her teammates. But again, is that a product of the people around you that you don't trust them? Or because, in practice, you're knocking those shots down? I don't know, But I love what I'm seeing from her. And I think it's nothing but she's going to get nothing but better. Nothing but better. Great.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. The other thing is like the shots that Rakia is missing, right? So she's shooting like 63% for the floor, right? Mm-hmm. The shots she's missing aren't bad shots.
Right.
The shots she's missing are shots where she's getting bumped off her spot, not finishing in contact, getting her shot blocked. When she gets a pump fake and more and stronger, the young lady could be shooting 75% from the floor. As a forward.
Yep.
Not as a big, not battling in the paint, not as a wing.
Right. But let's call it too. The games that I've seen coast to coast, that's like in her sleep. She's still giving up the pass before with the hockey assist. She has a lot of hockey assists. I want to see her get to the point of getting the actual assist. Get that assist number up. That's going to make them respect you more when you get closer to the rim. Right now, you get to the rim, they bring in 2-3 defenders. Of course, it's going to be you getting bumped off your spot, what the case may be. Get those assist numbers up, and it's going to be a problem. And I think the assists come when you get stronger, because now you're getting there. You can make that space. You can get a ball up and let somebody else get that bucket. But yeah, it's going to be nothing but good things. Nothing but good things for her. I like what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
What I'm saying.
So I know I snuck Rakia in there. I know you wanted to talk about that Gamecock, Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston. We got on Aaliyah Boston.
Okay, Aaliyah Boston. Right now she's averaging 14 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Let me say that stat line one more time. 14 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. We've been saying this since the beginning of the season. You cannot tell, well, I'll say me, that this surge with the Indiana Fever is not because of the inside-out factor, okay? No disrespect at all to Mitchell or Cece. Not at all. Not at all. But quite frankly, they're being what a guard is supposed to be. They're free. They're getting those looks. That's what they're supposed to do. Okay. Aaliyah Boston is putting together. She just hit 30.
Mm-hmm.
30, 11, 30, and 13 against the and let's say this, it was under pressure. When I'm watching that game, when they said, hey, look, let's start doing the pick and roll, high pick and roll with CC in Boston, that's when that game turned around. That's when the game turned around. I want to say it was like 2 plays in a row, 3 plays in a row. 2 of them she made, 1 of them she may have missed. I think they got the putback. There was no stopping Aaliyah Boston. It's almost like people forgot.
She was cooking. She was cooking.
Aaliyah Boston is coming in. She has one of the softest touches below the free throw line of anybody in the WNBA right now. She can do it with her back to the basket. She can do it facing up. And recently, she's been going around people doing it. Did you see the fake handoff in the clutch where she spent around and went to the rim and laid it with the left and then held the left up like, did y'all forget what I could do?
I missed that one.
Okay. So clutch point of the game. Indiana's down 2. CC had just hit a jumper. Okay. Mm-hmm. So CC has the ball. She gives it to Boston. Boston pops up top. Boston has the ball, shows it, turns to the side like she about to do a handoff. CC runs by her. She spins to her left, goes around her defender, and lays it with the left. And holds it up like, did y'all forget that I could do this? We're talking about a big doing this. She's 6'5", 220. Doing this? Are you kidding me? So, okay, bear with me for a minute.
Sure.
Verse the Sky. She only played 22 minutes, which I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if that's minute management, but she has 7 points. 7 points and 5 rebounds. Then they won again against Dallas. She played 33 minutes. She has 7 points and 8 rebounds. Okay. 10 rebounds, rather. Moving on to the Sparks. 24 and 10. Then she, against Minnesota, one of the best teams in the league, she gave them 20 and 5. And then, of course, last night, 30 and 11. And the way she's scoring, I love the bigs because the bigs kind of rely on other players getting them the ball. But we can clearly see she is a matchup problem for anybody down low. It opens up the entire Indiana Fever offense. You got both those wing spots open when you get the ball down to Aaliyah and she's working it out. So my thoughts would be, if I'm the Indiana Fever, you found something, kind of lost it, you found it again. Okay, there was a sequence, and again, it was a tie game. CC came down after hitting the jumper and shot a logo 3 and missed. Atlanta came down and took the lead. And I'm thinking to myself, why would someone shoot a logo 3 that point in the game and you almost lost it? So guess what play they ran when they came back down? They gave the pick and roll. Who scored the bucket? Aaliyah Boston. These are the types of plays you need when you're in the playoffs. These are the types. Aaliyah Boston is the player that can get Indiana out of the first round. And again, I'm not taking anything away from anybody else on that team, but I'm telling you that I think a lot of people forgot how good Aaliyah Boston was, or that she is, rather. Almost 15 in this climate of the bigs that we have in the league right now, and she's putting up these numbers. Are you kidding me? So, inside out, I don't know what the brackets are right now, but I have a hard time seeing anybody stopping Aaliyah Boston if you make her the primary option in the playoffs to get out of there. So I just wanted to get that acknowledgement. I know that we knew who she was, but I think that she's putting everybody before the playoffs start like, I'm back. She never left, but you get what I'm saying.
Got you. Okay. Okay. We definitely gonna see. We gonna definitely be watching to see what goes on.
And the
But I know
clip
we only got
too. The clip she's shooting at too says against Atlanta she was 11 out of 16.
Mhm.
Against Minnesota she was 9 out of 15. Sparks 10 out of 16. Come on. Even the games she had low output, 3 out of 6, 2 out of 5. I don't know what that percentage is off the top of my head because I didn't look at it, but that's mid 60s if I believe so correctly. 60, 50.
yeah. She's shooting at a clip.
Come on. What are we talking about here? She's getting to the bucket or getting fouled almost every time she gets the ball in space when one person's trying to check her. The only time she has to get that ball up is when they bring the extra defender. She's a matchup.
So I think they either play the Suns or the Lynx.
Well, she gave the Lynx 20 last time in a pretty competitive game. I like their chances against the Sun better than the Lynx, though. I do. Just because
I said that they could win the game. I won't give them a series. I'm not willing to give them a series. Like I just was talking about with the other team. The stage is different, the refs are different, the pressure is different, the spotlight's different. You ain't never won nothing ever. So all of those things factor in for me. I get Aaliyah Boston is a national champion. She's not gonna have the ball in her hand enough. And if I'm looking at Minnesota, I don't know who Indiana has to really stop Nafisa Collier. She's a problem.
Yeah,
she's a problem.
Yeah.
Courtney Williams would probably be hard for Caitlin to keep up with.
Mm-hmm. I think you have to put Mitchell on her.
And well, if Kelsey Mitchell is working that hard, she ain't screwed.
Right, I agree.
She ain't smart. Minnesota shoots the 3-ball really, really well.
Yep.
And so I would take Kayla McBride to cancel out your threes. Like we could go 3 for 3 for a minute.
But you have to put me. I was thinking about that the other day. Says you have to put Mitchell on court. You have to, and I get it. You're gonna sacrifice on the other end, but I agree. Unless CC is making her play a lot of defense, and put it this way, CC has to be hot for court to respect her.
Mm-hmm.
She has to be, because other than that, you got to put Mitchell on her. You have to. No way around that.
So that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I know we only got a few minutes before we get out of here. I know you got to go, but you had something that you wanted to say about Angel's comments. I wanted to make sure you got that in.
Yeah. Okay. Is it just me? But again, like I said, I watch a lot of the lives, and I want to quote her specifically. She stated, somebody mentioned about, what's going on, the injury and stuff like that. And she said, I'm able to give myself a physical and mental break. I think that sometimes it's underrated how much pressure these young ladies are under, especially Angel Reese. And looking at, I didn't watch the entire episodes, but in looking at some of her podcasts, she has a lot going on. She has the podcast, she has the clothing line, she has the shoes, she has the modeling that she's doing. She's serving as the face of a team as a rookie. She's exceeding all of the expectations that many had put before her. Then she spent some time on a certain fan base that was really giving her a hard time. And you wonder how much Angel Reese hears when she's visiting different arenas, what's said about her, what's stated, what's going on outside of the court. I just thought that I think this is one of the first times I've ever heard an athlete of her caliber say something like, I'm able to give myself a physical and mental break. And you got to wonder, like, that mental break, is that a mental break from the stress of the expectations? Is it a mental, you just don't know. I just thought it was a very interesting comment for Angel to make at this time, to give herself a mental break. And that rejuvenation of, and then just like you mentioned earlier, the empathetic side of her going out with her teammates when they were hurt. That's all stress on an individual, even though it wasn't her that was hurt in that moment. She clearly feels that she has to take on that responsibility and take on that weight and accompany her teammates in their times of need. But you wonder who's accompanying Angel Reese in her times of need. Granted, she has her family connections, obvious, but on the team and things like that, like you just wonder, what did that statement, how deep is that statement to say that, as far as like, and I can get a mental break. So I just thought it was just something interesting for her to say in that moment. So I just thought it was a very unique approach to a season-ending injury for this year. Thoughts?
I just I'm of the belief right now. I know that she said she had to have surgery, so she was out until like Halloween. But I was really under the mindset that if it went deep enough, that Angel would be back. I think that when she talked about on Unapologetically Angel, what took place and sitting out in at LSU, some of that same concept was kind of there with the mental break and that kind of stuff. I think it's something that young people are a little bit more comfortable talking about. It's not such a stigma to be able to say, hey, I need a mental health day, or hey, I need to take a step back. I think that's just growth in how athletes are taking care of their bodies. When Marshawn said, take care of your take care of your mentals, take care of your chickens, right? And then take care of your physical. Like those are all things that you want to be making sure that you are locked in on. And I think that that's a big part of her brand. I think that she's been doing a tremendous amount of things, wearing a lot of hats, entrepreneur, basketball player, and then just running a business on a day-to-day basis. I think requires a lot of different things. She seems to have a really good team around her. But Angels also played a lot of basketball here recently, right? So you had to run up to the national championship, you won a national championship. You had the off season of that and the NIL blow up, right? So you blow up from that, you come back the next season trying to repeat. Still a lot of coverage, still growing a brand, and then into the WNBA and helping play a team that was supposed to be at the very bottom of the league into potentially a playoff spot. So definitely could be a good reset. I don't think that Angel really got a reset at the Olympic break like others did. I think she worked the whole time, went over to Paris. So could definitely be a great opportunity. And one of the last times, right, that she gets an opportunity to kind of like have that time to herself. One thing that I remember, and I've been watching a few episodes back now, but I've been watching the Serena documentary, and Serena said that she always looked at her injuries as a good time. Like she was going to do her physical therapy and whatever it took for her to get better. But while she didn't have to tennis, she did all of the fun stuff that she wanted to do, like karaoke, and get back to the community. And because these opportunities are so far and few between, like you don't wish an injury, but when they are there, the best way to enjoy it is by surrounding yourself with the family that you're not able to normally see and spend time with and grow and develop with. So, I think that it'll be good for her, and it's I think it's something that we've seen in superstars before, and I think Michael Jordan was better when he came back after the ankle injury. We know now from Last Dance he had started playing basketball way before he was supposed to, but it worked out well for him. I think it'll work out well for her.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Yeah.
So, With that, y'all, you got anything before we get ready to get out of here?
Just looking at a lot of basketball. Got some great games coming up. Stay tuned. We got some great stuff coming up for y'all as usual. And pay attention to the Discord.
Yeah, pull up in the Discord. Make sure you're checking us out daily with Cess Talks Bets with MJ Lover. 23 at 3 p.m. Wednesdays and Fridays, we've got the 1 p.m. the CC show. Monday nights, we have the Now Joining the Conversation live. We have Cess Talk Sports, the show every night at 11, unless it's preempted by live games. We also have Ringside with B. We're doing that around the fights. And we also have Time Out with Juju and Cess every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So make sure y'all are pulling up, hanging out. Check out some of our interviews. Check out these young people that we showcase them, bringing them to you as we get them in. If you know youth that you think we should talk to, please send them our way. We appreciate the support. And with that, it's your favorite team with Uncle Tendencies. Until next time, stay tuned. Talk soon, y'all. We out.